Well, what you saying, ladies and gents? It is your boy Bucket Sam, and we are back again today for another video. Today's video, I'm going to be predicting the 2021-2022 championship table. This is going to be really hard to call, but let's just hope we look back on this and say, Sam, you are a genius, yes? That's what we're praying for. But let me know what you also think of the new setup. I thought, you know what, let's mix it up. And for that, I want 40 likes, guys. You know how it is. Let's get into it anyway. Let's roll that intro. And so we are going to start off with bottom of the table. 24th spot for me is quite an easy one. I think it has to be Derby County. And the reason why, it's just the list is endless, to be honest. We've got Wayne Rooney injuring players. How is that a thing? How Jason Knight is out for just over 2 months after Wayne Rooney went in for a 50-50. They have only got 13 first-team players, which includes 2 goalkeepers. They've got a transfer embargo, and they're looking at youth players. This is the problem when you go up against the EFL and when you break FFP rules. There's nothing they can do now. They just really need to hope their youth players can step up. And there'll be one player I'm looking out for this year will be Jack Stretton. Had a pretty good loan spell at Stockport last year, so maybe he can step up, but he's going to be a big step up for a lot of these players. And I don't think they'll be able to cut it. So I think Derby are going to finish rock bottom. I don't think it's going to be a great season for them. If Wayne Rooney and Liam Rosenior can do it, then fair play to them, but I can't see it happening. So for me, I think Derby County will be bottom of the league. 23rd spot, I think, will be Peterborough United. It saddens me to say this because they haven't been in the Championship for a while. Obviously, they came up in 2010, got relegated straight away, came back in then in 2013, and again got relegated straight away. But if there's one man who can keep them up, it will be Johnson Clark-Harris. The striker, the talisman, scored 33 goals last season in League One, which helped them finish second place and secure that promotion. But will he be able to step up on this stage? It's a big jump. And a lot of players we've seen struggle in the past. We'll have to wait and see. I think he'll have a good season. I think he'll score 10, 15 goals, but I don't think we'll see him scoring 30 plus like he did before. He won't do an Ivan Toney, who also, as we know, came from the posh. It'll be an interesting season. I think the only problem is they have a lack of squad depth, which I think will really hit them after January. So I still think they'll get relegated. 23rd spot for Peterborough United. Now to the final relegation spot, 22nd place, I think will be Huddersfield Town. And this may come as a shock. Obviously, they didn't have the greatest end to the season, but Carlos Corberán, the manager, obviously Marco Bielsa's second-hand man, loves progressive football, passing out from the back. And having said that, they've then gone and signed Matty Pearson, the no-nonsense defender, which I don't understand, and I don't understand the transfer policy. They're signing in players who don't suit that system. So is Carlos Corberán going to change the style? Are they trying to get experience in? I don't understand it. There's no tunnel vision. It's all over the place. I like it when a manager has a philosophy and they apply it, and which he tried to do last season. It didn't work out. But then they've then gone and signed Jordan Rhodes and Matty Pearson. How does it suit the fluid style of play that he wants? Maybe he's going to change. I doubt it, because he really needs to change the points last season. So we'll have to wait and see how it goes, but I think there's too many things now. There was a road that I could see them going on, and now it's everywhere. There's roundabouts, there's points going off in every direction, and I think they're going to really struggle. So 22nd spot, Huddersfield Town. 21st spot now, the team that are going to finish just above the relegation zone and just scrape it. Potentially last day of the season, bit of drama, let's hope so. But this team, I think, will stay up. And this will come to a shock a lot of people. A lot of people say, Sam, what are you on about? You don't know football. Well, I'm telling you now, Blackpool, I honestly think, could really put up a fight this season. And I think potentially, I maybe even putting them quite low here. I think they could have a really good season. Neil Critchley, the manager, who obviously used to be the under-23s coach at Liverpool, you can quite clearly see he's learned a lot from Jurgen Klopp's philosophy. His team pressed so hard, so heavy, constant pressure and energy throughout the game, winning the ball back in the opposition third really helps them score a lot of goals, and that's why Jerry Yates last season was so good, scoring 23 goals. And they're going to hope this is redemption. The club obviously got relegated back in 2015. They've been out of the Championship now for 6 years, and Blackpool are a big side. And obviously in 2015 they were really humiliated. So this will be their season. I'm predicting that they're going to really go for it, really fight, energy throughout the season. Neil Critchley's men will stay up. So I'm going to say Blackpool, 21st spot. Out of 20th spot, I'm going to go for Preston North End. And there's a reason for this. Obviously Alex Neil parted ways, and it wasn't so long ago they were pushing for playoffs, but it really didn't work out for him, which was such a shame. I really liked him as a manager, I really liked his philosophy, but James McAvoy has come in now, and he's changing. There seems to be a bit of a buzz. Obviously, the form they showed at the end of the season was brilliant, but I still don't think they're going to have a great year this year. And the problem is they don't score goals. Their top goal scorer last season was Scott Sinclair, scoring 9 goals in all competitions, which isn't good enough in the Championship. If you really want to push on mid-table, playoffs, anything, you need goals. You need a talisman. And 9 goals for the top goal scorer isn't enough, and if they're not, then they need to spread it around the team, which they didn't. And the problem is as well, I think they still haven't filled that role that Ben Pearson left. Obviously, when he left for Bournemouth, he left a gaping hole. He was huge in that holding midfield role. He'd spray the ball around, he'd break up play. Yes, he loved the yellow card, but he's a very good player, and I still think unless they sort out that position and get a good striker in, I don't think they're going to get a very good season. And that's why I'm going to go for 20th spot for Preston North End. 18th place now, I think it will be Bristol City. I don't think Nigel Pearson has the know-how to get a team like Bristol City out. A lot of it individual good players like Nahki Wells. There are some really good players in this squad, but for some reason it doesn't seem to gel together. It reminds me a bit of Belgium's national team, but obviously Bristol City, let's just not even make that comparison. I can't believe I just made a comparison like that. Nahki Wells, Romelu Lukaku. Anyway, I'll shut up anyway. That's beside the point. I think Nigel Pearson really struggled. And we saw when he came in, he didn't really turn the form around. They finished 19th place last season, and on the budget and the amount they've spent on a lot of that team, it's really not good enough. And I don't think they can. They've got no momentum to carry through to this season. That's why I worry for them. I think they'll be above comfortably, like quite a few points gap between them and the relegation zone in 18th spot. But I just don't think they're good enough, and that's why I think they'll finish 18th. 17th spot now, I think will be Grant McCann's men, Hull City, and wow, did they light up League One last season? The first league title since 1966 for them. It was huge. The way they played last season, the energy, the youth, it was brilliant to watch. Such attacking, free-flowing football. Will they be able to replicate that in the Championship? I think Grant McCann will try it after what happened. He's got a point to prove this time with Hull in the Championship. And he's got a point to prove really at this level, and I think he's going to try and go for it. I think against some teams that are in around them, it will really work, but against some of the big boys, I think they'll struggle. But I think 17th spot coming up from League One is pretty positive, really. And let's hope we can see Malik Wilks score some brilliant goals, because he scored over 20 goals last season, and I think he can do it again. Yes, I know he had a poor time last time Hull were in the Championship, but I think this time's different. He's got momentum going into this season, so I think Hull will finish 17th place. 16th place now, I think, will be Stoke City, and I think this will be down to a few reasons. I think Michael O'Neill's men will struggle with the lack of squad depth that they have. And the over-reliance on Tyrese Campbell. There's too much reliance on the player. We saw when he got injured last year with that long-term knee injury, how much their season just kind of really fell off. That was what I was trying to show, that was really bad. That wasn't funny at all. I don't know why I did that. It didn't really add any effect. But not only that, they have lost Nathan Collins to Burnley. I think they're going to struggle. I think the lack of squad depth, as I said, Michael O'Neill's got a real job on his hands, and a lot of people are predicting them to finish in the top half of the table, even pushing on for the playoffs, but I don't think it's possible. I think Stoke City will finish 16th place. 15th place now, I think, will be Luton Town. I think that would be a really good finish for them. Nathan Jones's men, I think they looked very good, considering how small a budget they have compared to other sides. I think they've done some really good business. Obviously, James Collins, their top goal scorer from last season with 13 goals, has left on a free and gone to Cardiff, but they have replaced him with Cameron Jerome. Why did I struggle with the word Cameron? Cameron Jerome, Henry Lansbury. Obviously, they've got Carlos Mendes Gomez, another striker who could really set the league alight. I think they're building something here. A lot of youth players in this system that could really work out. And you know what Nathan Jones's men will do? They're going to fight, they're going to battle. And the Hatters team are just so together. I love it. Nathan Jones, you can see him on the edge. It's like he's playing. He goes for every header himself. And I think it really eggs on the players. And I think they're going to have a good season this year, and they'll finish 15th place. 14th place now, I think, will be Blackburn. I think Tommy Mowbray's time will be coming up this season. I think people are just going to get bored of it. I know he's come under a lot of scrutiny anyway, but players like Adam Armstrong, I don't know whether they really have the ability to hit 29 goals like that again this season. I don't think he will personally. I think they'll struggle this year. Get 14th spot, which is one improvement from last year, but I still think Tony Mowbray will be sacked. Down to 13th spot, I think, will be Nottingham Forest, and Chris Hughton, the man, needs to find a formula that works. He keeps changing the team all around. They've got a lot of good players on their books, and it just doesn't seem to gel and doesn't seem to work. And obviously last season, their top goal scorer only scored 6 goals, Lewis Grabban. it's not good enough. If they can't progress and move on to this promotion push that supposedly has been happening for so long, and this playoff push with the team they've got, and that's my worry. Yes, they dominated the bottom 10 sides last season, but the problem is they couldn't compete with the top half. They got dominated, and I think they're going to struggle again this season and finish 13th place. 12th spot now I think would be Barnsley. This is down to a few reasons. Obviously Ismail and Mowat both going to West Bromwich Albion, but it's the gaping hole that Mowat leaves. Obviously Callum Stiles can step up from that left wing back position and play in his preferred role in the central midfield, but Alex Mowat was so good going forward, created so many chances and was kind of the leader of that press a lot of the time, and Callum Stiles has got big boots to fill. Can he do it? I think they'll have a good season. I just don't think they'll hit the heights of last season, because yes, they've kept the majority of the squad together, but those two men, Ismail and Mowat, are huge. They were integral to that side last year. So I think they're going to have a pretty solid season and finish 12th. 11th spot now I think will be Birmingham City. I think Lee Bowyer's men will have a pretty solid season, because when he came in the form really did turn around, especially for players like Djukovic. I'm going to call him the Big Duke because I just struggle with his pronunciation of it. I can't even say the word pronunciation. The pronunciation of his name. Big Duke and Harley Dean, both of them really turned their form around. Completely different players under this manager. Obviously the Big Duke scored 8 goals last season. They'll be hoping he'll score a few more. The players like Tahith Chong and Carrillo on the wings who can really add, and Jordan Graham who can add to that attacking threat. Get those balls into him, because you know what he can do. He's proven he's a goal merchant. You put it on his head, he will put it in the back of the net, and they've got to hope for big things for them this season. I just think potentially there's too many new signings and it won't gel straight away. I think it'll take time, but I think it'll be a pretty positive season for them, finishing just above the mid-table. Now we are getting into the top 10. This is now where it gets juicy, where people think, ooh, controversial, but 10th spot for me will be QPR. A lot of people are saying to me, Sam, they're going to get promoted. They're in the playoffs. You beat Man United in a pre-season friendly. That's what you got to remember. These are all pre-season friendlies. Don't get ahead of yourself. Understand that QPR have got a good side. They've got invested in some really good future bright players. But it was a pre-season game. And you've got Lyndon Dykes and Charlie Austin up front. 2 players who both know the league well, but they're both very slow, very one-dimensional players. You can't play the ball. You can either play the ball into them or onto their head. There's nothing else. Obviously, they're anything around the box. Yes, they'll score a lot of goals, but they're not going to run the channels for you. That's my only worry for Mark Warburton's men this season. The strikers. Is it going to work out? They've got no plan B. That's what I'm saying. So 10th spot, I think, will be QPR. Now to 9th spot, and this again is a bit of a shock. I think it will be Millwall. There's something about that squad. It's a team you don't want to play against. Togetherness. Gary Rowett really knows what he's doing, and they've got Jed Wallace, who did score 11 goals last year in all competitions. He knows what he's doing, and that's the thing. They don't concede many goals, but they'll score a few, and I think they'll really sort of surprise people. Yes, at some points last season, they were ready for the playoff push, then they were worried about getting relegated. I think they're going to have a pretty solid season, just be below the playoffs throughout the season in 9th place. Now to 8th place, I think it'll be Swansea. I know a lot of people think they will get promoted, but I think we'll see this season the reliance on Steve Cooper, who is a brilliant manager, introduced a lot of good philosophies. Also introduced, Swansea have always been a good passing side, but he really homed in on that. They play some really good football. But we're also going to see the over-reliance on the Ghanaian international Andre Ayew. Obviously, he has left the club. And we're going to see how much of a gaping hole he can leave, because a lot of the goals came from him last season. He was the man they always turned to. So let's see what happens. I think 8th spot will be a pretty good finish considering those 2 factors. 7th place now, the team that I think will just about miss out on the playoffs, and I think it will be the team that just about missed it last season, Cardiff, but I think they're going to go one better this season. I think they're going to finish 7th rather than 8th, and it's all down to Mick McCarthy. You know what you're going to get with them. I keep saying it, it's another team that will be hard to beat, and Kiefer Moore, if he can bag another 20 goals like he did last year after a successful Euros, they could be in and about the playoffs. I just think they're just about going to miss out on it, because I think they're just some better sides that are about to come in this top 6. Now, before we get into the playoffs, guys, if you've been enjoying this video, please smash that like button and subscribe if you haven't. But 6th spot for me will be Middlesbrough. Neil Warnock is building the hardest, the nastiest, the tallest, the meanest team you will ever build. This guy is just, you're 6 foot, get into my team. You fancy a yellow card, get into my team. And it works. They will be a real force this year. A team that no one wants to play against. And obviously they signed Uche Ikpeazu. There we go. I know I've just butchered it. It is Ikpeazu. There we go. I can say that. There we go. You see that? The Wycombe striker only got 7 goals last year, but I think in this Middlesbrough side, he will be huge. He will score so many goals and be vital for their promotion push. And I think, as I've said, Paddy McNair, they're building a strong team. Sammy Amiobi, it's just a team you don't want to play against, and they will really, really, really perform this year under Neil Warnock. You know what you're going to get: togetherness, a team that is just going to fight till the end, and I think they will do, and they'll get into that playoff spot in 6th place. 5th spot for me will be a side that just missed out on the playoffs after a late slip-up, which no one really expected. Pretty disappointing from Reading. Yes, there you go. Reading. I think Lucas João will be huge again. 22 goals last season. I'm surprised he hasn't moved into the Premier League yet. No one's really coming. Not really many links. No one's been sniffing about. If he can score another 20 goals, I think they could really push on for promotion this year. They were very impressive throughout the season. Just had a bit of a decline in form right at the end, and they just missed out on that playoffs. And I think they'll get it this year and finish in 5th spot. 4th spot now for me will be Fulham, and I think the problem is Marco Silva. Yes, they've got some really good players, some championship quality players in that squad. I don't really need to go through because there are so many players, including Mitrovic. That's just one good example. But Marco Silva, I don't understand how this guy gets a job. Wherever he's been, he's really been in and out of form. We saw at Watford, it was amazing, then it was horrendous. Everton, amazing, then horrendous. And I think you need a manager who's going to be consistent throughout the season, because that's one thing that will get you out of the Championship. It's not an easy job to do. You need consistency. And Marco Silva is not the man to bring consistency. But lucky for him, he's got probably the best squad in the league. But I think they'll only finish 4th. And I think they'll just miss out on promotion this year. 3rd spot, I think this team will just miss out on the automatic promotion. I think it'll be Bournemouth, and I don't understand why Scott Parker went to Bournemouth. I don't know what he's seen there. He's kind of just done a little shuffle, to a little sidestep really from Bournemouth to Fulham. Similar sized clubs in similar positions, but I think Bournemouth were unlucky last year to lose out to Brentford. I think it was all down to Chris Mepham. They looked convincing. Obviously, Dan Juma banging in that goal in that playoff game. But that's beside the point. All the Bournemouth fans are hopefully over it, and they're hoping Scott Parker can propel them on. Because you know what he's going to do? He's going to play lovely football, and he likes a big striker. We saw it when he had Mitrovic in the Championship last time. And I think Solanke will be that man, and Solanke will bang in so many goals. He was very good last season, and I think he'll score a lot of goals this season. But I just think they'll miss out on that automatic promotion. To the top 2, guys. Here we go. And 2nd place, I think, will be West Bromwich Albion. I think they'll get that automatic promotion. Ismail, you know what you're going to get with him. High pressing, intense football, and they've got some brilliant players who are perfect for the Championship. Obviously, the brilliant signing, Adam Reach, has just been announced today. What a signing that is. Alex Mowat, another good signing. Matt Clark, a good centre-back, a very good player, and Dean Garner, who we all know can light up this league, Carl Grant. They've got a lot of proven Championship players, and I think they'll do very well this season. I think they'll have a dip in form at one point, because this intense style of play will probably tire them out just after January, but after a little bit of a break, after a few international breaks, I think they'll pick back up their form, and I think they'll really push on. 2nd place for West Bromwich Albion. 1st spot now, you've probably worked it out, will be Sheffield United, and I think this is down to one main reason. Obviously, Djukanovic is a brilliant manager. Not only that, he knows how to get out of this division, but they have got 5 brilliant strikers. Ollie Burke, Ollie McBurney, David McGoldrick, Brewster, Billy Sharp. They are going to score goals for fun. They've not really lost many players out this side, and that's going to really help them. Obviously, they lost Lundstrom, but other than that, they've kept majority of the squad together, and I think it will really help, and they will just smash this league, finish 1st, and get straight back up promotion. But yeah, guys, thank you for watching. An absolutely huge thank you again for helping us hit 1K subscribers. If you haven't, as I've said before, smash that like button and subscribe, because you don't realise how much it helps. And let me know, guys, where you think everyone will place this season, and hopefully you have enjoyed this video and you agree with me. But yeah, Bucket Sam over and out. More videos coming your way. Goodbye.